Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our show. So, today we're going to be making something called Not Your Grandmother's Macaroni and Cheese. This is kind of like a grown up version macaroni and cheese. So, we are using the small shell to make the mac and cheese today. Of course, you have your boiling water with your generous salt and a little bit of oil. And this is what it boils down to. See that little starchy water? We're not throwing that away. We're going to be using that in the macaroni and cheese. Um, Very unusual kind of ingredients today. So we're going for we're going with mascarpone cheese. We're going with gorgonzola cheese, which is cow and a sheep cheese crumble. And we're going with the Monterey Jack and mild cheddar, butter, evaporated milk, and some finely diced onions that I haven't done. Um, what we're going to do is go dice up some onions and come back. I won't show you the dicing of the onions, but this is not your grandmother's mac and cheese. This is a grown-up gourmet version of mac and cheese, and this cheese is going to be arrived from whatever cheese we have in the house. Not running out to buy anything extra. Whatever's in the house is what we're going to be using, and it's going to be fabulous. Okay, so mac and cheese is we didn't strain the liquid off. See, we still have that little starchy liquid. We didn't turn the pot off. We have it on low. Okay. With that, we're going in with a generous helping of onions. Okay. For extra flavor. As I told you, this is not your grandmother's mac and cheese. This is by no means a southern mac and cheese. This is gourmet, grown-up palate flavored mac and cheese. Mixing in the onion. Going to be going in with a half a stick of butter. Half of the stick of butter. Have that butter all melted in there. Next, we're going in with this is all I have left in the house. And it's the mild cheddar and Monterey Jack. And I did mix a little bit of the gorgonzola cheese in it. Not a lot. You only need like about a quarter of a cup of the gorgonzola. I'm going to be mixing that in. Going in with Parmesan cheese, probably quarter of a cup. You could cheese it to your flavor and your taste. Some people like a lot, some people like a little. I like a cheesy macaroni and cheese, so I'm going in with a quarter cup of aged Parmesan. Yeah, now the cheese is melting. We're getting that little stretchiness going on there. this is going to be a baked macaroni and cheese, guys. So we're going to be putting this in a pan, and I think I have a glass dish, and I'm going to be putting it in the oven to brown the top nicely and give it that baked macaroni and cheese flavor. Now, for the richness, we're going to be using the evaporated milk, that rich creaminess, going in with evaporated milk. And just open this can. So we're going in with probably a 1/4 cup of evaporated milk. We want this macaroni and cheese to be nice and rich and creamy. So 1/4 cup. See? And of course we didn't make a roux or a bechamel sauce, but you see how nice and thick and coated those are, just from that water that we boil the pasta in. We didn't throw it off. We just boil it down to a nice thick consistency, and it gives the macaroni and cheese that nice coated bechamel or cheese sauce kind of consistency. And we didn't do all of that. See? All right. For extra creaminess, we're going in with the mascarpone. Mascarpone is a creamy cheese spread that's usually used on bagels, and it's the cheese that they use in tiramisu. So it's like more of a dessert cheese, but we have it in the house, and that's what we're going to be using today. So a nice probably a 1/2 cup of mascarpone cheese, and we're going to mix that in. That's going to add to the delicious creamy texture that we're looking for, that macaroni and cheese have when you make a cheese sauce. But of course, what happened? We did not make a cheese sauce. We're just dumping everything. It's like a one pot. So we're going to be mixing in the mascarpone. Just clean this off. Don't want to waste any of this luscious, creamy sauce. And all along, we still have the stove on a very low heat, okay, to keep everything melted and keep the sauce going. Look at that. Doesn't get creamier than that. With no flour or thickening agent. All the thickener comes from the starches from the pasta and the milk and cheese cooked down. That gives it that nice creamy coating. You will not miss a bite of cheese when you're eating this baked macaroni and cheese. See, look at that. Everything is creamy and nicely coated. At this point, before we put it in the pan to cook, we're going in for the taste. When we come back, I'm going to be putting it in a baking dish, and this creamy macaroni and cheese is going in the oven. We'll be right back. Okay, so we're back. So as we continue to bring this grown palate adult macaroni and cheese to the finish line, I'm going to be buttering just a glass dish, generously buttered all around. before we dump our macaroni and cheese in. Okay, there we go, all buttered up. And our macaroni and cheese, our grown-up macaroni and cheese is going in to this beautiful dish. It's going in the oven to be baked, just to brown the top, because this is, see how nice and creamy that sauce is. We don't need any more cooking. We're just putting it in to brown the top, so you have that nice baked macaroni and cheese look when it comes out. There we go. Spread it out. How beautiful does that look? All right. I like to put a little bit more of the aged Parmesan on top. And I give this a generous, to really give that crunch on top. Okay, nicely covered up. Then something that I also like to put on top of my macaroni and cheese to give it a wee little bit of color and for presentation when you put this dish on the table, a nice baked macaroni and cheese, I like to go in with some smoked paprika. Just a sprinkle. See how that makes it pop? And of course, this macaroni and cheese is not for you know, it's not your grandma's macaroni and cheese. This is a gourmet, new to the palate flavored macaroni and cheese. So I'm going in with something that is called Slap Ya Mama. It's a Cajun seasoning that I found about 10 years ago. My husband has a friend that comes from Louisiana, and when he goes to Louisiana, he usually brings Slap Ya Mama back just for me. It just so happened that he retired about 3 years ago, and I have not seen Slap Ya Mama since then. And I'm in Walmart in Jersey, and there it is on the shelf. And of course I stacked up because I don't know when I'm going to see it again. And here it is. We're going in with a little bit of Cajun seasoning, just lightly sprinkled right on top, all in the crust. There we go. And that taps off the flavors of this macaroni and cheese. And in the oven we're going. Okay, so this is our macaroni and cheese, all grown up with all the grown up flavors, on our way to the oven to join the ribs that's already in for dinner. We're keeping this macaroni and cheese in for probably about 15 to 20 minutes. After 15 minutes, I'm going to check. Once the top is nicely browned, I will be pulling it out. We'll be back and I'll show you the plating of this final Sunday meal. It's going to be grown-up flavored macaroni and cheese with barbecue baby back ribs and a nice strawberry mixed green salad. We'll be back. Okay, so welcome to the finished product. And this is the gourmet, not your grandmother's mac and cheese, with all the grown-up flavors for a grown-up palate. Here it is, all done, right out of the oven. And we're about to dig in.